Hey everybody, welcome back to 3D6 Down the Line. I don't know what fools I have in front of me here. I wish you listeners out there could see it, but we have almost once again a full house, but not quite. My name is John. I am your referee for the evening. Going around the horn, we have, as always,
I am Mike. I play Gorand, the now 5th level dwarf.
Normally,
I believe I owe David a little bit of love this week, and I'm really pissed that he's not here because he's been shit talking me like nonstop for like the last week.
Yes, he narrowly avoided it. Normally, we would have David playing Onward the Illusionist. However, this week he is dead to us.
Although, to be fair to David, he has a really good excuse. He's working very, very hard.
Yes.
So
I really don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Dead to us is dead to us.
Okay.
I'm Matt. I play Avaricios, the left hand of Lysion. Let's go.
And I'm Ted. I'm playing Mortus J. Gobliano, Goblin level 4, Bard level 0, and most excellent Goblin.
Indeed. All right. So the crew is here. Once again, we are playing the Megadungeon, the Halls of Arden Vul by Richard Barton, using the old school central system by Gavin Norman, otherwise known as Necrotic Gnome. We are very happy to have Mike back, and we are about to kick it into gear here with some more dungeon exploration. First, they got to get over to it, but let's see what happens here. So it is the 29th of Ligarios. It is about 9 a.m. The weather is dry and rather baking hot for a spring day as the year winds on, and they are currently at the base of the ruined statue of Arden near the Bridge of Doubt, which crosses over to the palace, the island where the palace is on, which is where Vargr met his unfortunate end at the hands of a vicious carnivorous plant. Their goal is to head west across the second bridge and make their way across the western wall of the ruined city and try to find the tunnels that were hinted at that Gerrilad uses to try to find another entrance into Plunger Town. So, with that said, David is no longer with us. I mean, Onweir is no longer. Onweir is no longer with us. However, you guys hear noises behind you as you see "Wait for me," in a really high pitched voice, and it's Goran.
Wait up, guys! Wait up!
And he's dragging a hideous, hunched figure behind him, the one and only Atticus Skullface, who comes to join you as well.
Brought that guy?
Yeah.
I thought we ditched them both. Oh, man. Okay.
So you've got...
Hey, Goran.
I wave. Yeah, come on, hurry up. We were waiting for you.
So the party, we have the three PCs, and then we have, just for retainer recap, we now have Yost, Codswallop, which are both Mort's retainers. We have Atticus, who is Goran's, and we have Njal Oakhearts, who is Avaricios. Elizabeth, Samantha the Red, and that's it, right? Are the only two that are guarding the chest back at the end of the Broken Head.
Right.
Okay. First of all, a little bit of bookkeeping, which I'm sure Mike will enjoy. I believe Atticus leveled up, yes?
Did we get XP for last week that he would have gotten?
I thought when we discussed that he actually did level up. Is that not the case?
No, I think he was like 300 or 400 short, wasn't he? That was the last time that I played.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's no problem. But one point of order for Atticus, and I did update this on the character sheet that you can see, Mike, and the listeners can see on the website. With the new chance in 6 numbers for skills that we're using instead of like the set percentiles scores, read languages is incorporated into as one of the skills now. It is not something that is gated by 4th level, so it's just like a skill like any other. So it would start with a 1 in 6. I had forgotten about this. I adjusted on the thing, so he automatically gets 1 in read languages. When he goes up in level, Mike, you can divvy up a score into that as well.
Cool.
However, because I forgot that Atticus was present in the inn when you were reading the books, there is a 1 in 6 chance that Atticus, of all people, can actually decipher the strange language that the practical liturgies of Thoth, of Lord Thoth, is written in that no one else could decipher. So I thought, as an opening die roll here, we could actually roll that 1 in 6 chance. And if you hit a 1, we'll just, what I'm saying is we're retconning back to the end real quick to see if Atticus might be able to translate that book. So,
I
Mike.
appreciate that. And just so you know, I switched my dice to Chrome because I'm metal as fuck.
Okay. Roll it. A two.
Oh,
Okay.
so close.
That's all right. I thought there might be a chance, but I might as well give it to you. So, yes, that book, just don't, if it hasn't been noted by one of you, probably Ted, that it is indecipherable, you should definitely do that. It is still a mystery to you, except for those hieroglyphic drawings, right?
That's the practical liturgies.
The practical liturgies of Lord Thoth, written in a strange language. Okay, let's pop us over to Owlbear here. You and the viewers can see this. So, first of all, with the addition of Gornd, I'm assuming Atticus can move pretty fast. Gornd, what are you moving at right now?
With my armor, I am at.
They say 90.
90, correct.
Yay.
90, great. Okay, so yeah, it took you like an hour or so to get to this point. And you guys have been here before, but it was like, this was way back in the beginning of the campaign, although it's only been like a couple weeks in real time. This was like last year for us. So where you are right now, you can, the Swift River is before you, right? So you're hearing like the quickly moving rapids of the river. At this point on the eastern bank, it is something that could be technically swimmable, although you probably wouldn't want to do so in armor. But the looming, the sun is coming from your back as you're facing westward over, looking out over the bridge, and it's illuminating the massive ruins of the palace proper, which is the palace of the governor and archon of Arden Vul, where they used to reside. And you have a kind of a moment's just sort of like, R.I.P., pour one out for old Barger. So it's but you are standing before the remains of the colossal statue of Arden the Defender. And all that's left of the statue is the pediment itself and two enormous marble feet and ankles, booted feet. And you know for a fact that the head adorns the entrance to the Inn of the Broken Head, which is thus its name, right? And you have a feeling that the other parts of the statues are probably scattered about. I couldn't remember. I'm fairly certain that you actually have encountered one or two of those things.
We've two. Yeah, we sold one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hid the other.
Yeah, and the other one is hidden in that that secret entrance where we fought the spiders, where Isocritus, by his lab.
Okay.
Right. And we have a sinking suspicion that we made a bad error in selling that one piece of the statue. Right?
We'll say this. You should probably just take notes about the locations of every piece you find. Let's put it that way.
It formed a pentagram. Oh, my God.
That makes me feel worse. Because then we definitely made a mistake selling that one piece. What did we sell?
A leg, I think.
A leg. Wasn't it a leg?
Sold a leg, and we found an arm. And, yeah. So, presumably, Arden was not simply composed of one leg and one arm, and there are more pieces around. Okay. I say we cross the bridge, cross the island, avoid the plant, cross the second bridge, and then we're really in Terra Incognita. We've never been on this western side before. So
indeed, the western side. You've never been on the western side of Arden Vul. So you pay respects to Vargr, you give a little nod to the remains of Arden, and you cross over the Bridge of Doubt. Ironically enough, it was the one trait of Arden that she never exhibited. And doubt, yeah.
I thought you were crossing the river.
Confident in all things.
She's a vampire.
So you cross over. You're in that sort of it's a rubble-strewn but obviously grand plaza that fronted the main entrance to the palace. And you look, you cross over, and you look upon the second bridge. And I should say too, as you're crossing over the bridge, looking down the Swift River, I think we mentioned this the last time as well, but you can see clearly to the south that the Swift River, the eastern run of it, actually opens up into a rather placid lagoon at this point. Where is it here? That's okay. But there are a number of docks that are actually jut out into the lagoon itself, and they are all cement structures. that extend to the lagoon, and they are pitted and bowed in some places. And you can tell that like at least one of them, probably multiple, are like near collapse, like through erosion and stuff like that. But it does have that solid sort of Archontian make to it. But it appears that it's not natural. Like this was actually, the lagoon itself was formed by the Archontians in order to be like a dock, basically.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so, wait, John, the bridge that you're calling the Bridge of Doubt, is that the one that's right by the feet?
Yes, right on the eastern side. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it's not like visibly like labeled or something there. Like we don't know that it's called that.
No, I'm just giving it to you.
Okay.
Because it's cool.
Yeah,
that'd be hilarious though. You walk up to this little bridge that says Bridge of Doubt, and you're like, I don't know if I'm going over there.
Welcome to the Bridge of Doubt. Yeah. Now, there's plenty of bridges in the real world that actually have like a little plaque saying what it is, right? Like Pont Neuf, right? You know, that's
they don't normally say doubt, however.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Better name than like New Bridge, though. Come on, Paris. All right.
All right.
As you cross over the western bridge, it is basically the mirror of the other one. This one is somehow it just comes to you. It's called the Bridge of Wisdom. This is a trait that was definitely observed by Arden's partner, exhibited by Arden's partner, Vul. You cross over that bridge as well. So it takes you about a turn to get over both of the bridges.
How does this bridge look? Like, how well maintained? Is it crumbling and falling apart? Is it in pretty good shape?
It's not perfect. It's falling apart, but there's no doubt that it's like safe. Like it's thick enough construction that you had no qualms about like even thinking about crossing it. Wide enough, strong enough. It's not a big deal.
And John, just how swift are the rivers that we're crossing on these two bridges? Are they like still like dangerously fast? Because you said the lake was placid, but there's a giant waterfall. There's got to be a lot of water moving through them, right?
Yeah, it's a good question. So they're markedly different. So the Bridge of Doubt, the eastern bridge, crosses over the eastern bank of where the river splits. And this is fast moving, still swift, obviously. But like I said, it probably could be swum with a good check, no armor, that sort of thing. It's still very dangerous. However, when you cross the Bridge of Wisdom, which is the actual true course, the natural course of the Swift River, it is extremely rapid. It is instant death to go in there. It cannot be crossed by normal means.
Sean, is there an easy way? Like, I don't want to disrail. Is there an easy way to like peek underneath the bridge? Like, is there like that seems like a good place to stash something? Is like
maybe before we get on the bridge, like if we go to that land to either side, can we see underneath it? Matt is thinking about hiding places. I'm thinking about monsters that are going to pull us into the river.
Control. Answer me these questions 3. But, there's there are no monsters underneath.
Okay.
It is draped with like with moss and climbing plants and things like that. You know, there's a smell of wetness and stuff like that. It's very dark underneath.
Is it carnivorous plants?
Nope, everything's safe. It's totally fine. It is shadowed and dark and moist. And yes, you could probably find some. I mean, I don't think there's any way where you can just like simply tuck something in there. You would have to rig something, but it's because it's so dangerous underneath you. It would be an excellent hiding place if you could actually find a means in which to hang something or attach something to the base of it. Cool.
If it's good to keep in mind, you know, a thief and some rope, you can do a lot of crazy things.
And it's like I should be clear too that the banks of the river on either side they're not like sheer, but they're very rocky with scree and like it's not something where you can just sort of amble down to the banks of the river, right? Like because the river is moving so fast, it cuts, right? So it's the banks are rather sharp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just had one more thought. So before we start going any farther west, one thing that I think this is just a little thing. I think it'd be pretty easy. He looks at the party and he's like, we have a pretty easily identified silhouette as a group, right? We've got these two goblins.
I don't know what you are meaning by that.
We can be identified as a group from a distance, right? We've got you, who's very big. We got these two little guys, the dwarf, me with my little problem, and I was thinking, if we just take a little bit of effort, I probably have a few things in my bag here we could use just to look like different people. Just in case Gerrilad has people watching, to I don't think he likes us. Probably.
You want us?
Where are you getting that from?
You want us to cosplay through the ruins?
I think that would be a really good idea. And in fact, for you, I have this, and he reaches into his bag and he pulls out like a big, like a pitchfork, so you can look like a farmer. Maybe
Nice.
a little farmer's hat.
A farmer in Arden, like in the ruins of.
Yeah,
Okay.
very distinctive. You're very charming.
You can do it. So we don't have to go into like the detail of exactly what the costume looks like, but I think as long as we hold to the Larrel's Sack house rule that we made, which is basically like one item per day of a specific type. So as long as everyone looks different, right, basically, then it would work.
So we couldn't all dress up as priests of Set, for example.
Correct.
But we could dress up as 5 or 6 different priest types.
I would say though too, like priestly adornments might be stretching the Sack's capabilities as well. Like they kind of have to be like mundane, right?
Yeah, like a robe. Yeah.
A basic robe. Yeah.
Right,
I would like to cosplay as Pikachu. Can I do that?
I might have a little yellow bunny suit in here.
Only Detective Pikachu though.
Yes.
It comes with the microscope.
Codswallop and Mort are going to, Mort's going to climb on Codswallop's hunchback there, and we need a trench coat and a fedora.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be one figure instead of 2 short goblins.
Why don't you guys cosplay as the 2 little girls from The Shining?
We can only get one dress.
That's right. They wouldn't be the same. I'm sorry.
Okay. So what did I say? 9 a.m. It started at 9 a.m. It took you 1 turn to cross the bridges. I'm going to say it's going to take another turn to outfit yourself.
Okay.
That was the sound of John reeling us in.
Yep. Time to move it along. Okay. So so your plan, as you dictated to me, is that you want to stay well clear of any inhabitants. So you're not going to branch as the crow flies directly through the west gate for fear of encountering the robed scholars. So you head west towards that strange structure, which is right here. If you look at my thingy, right?
Go on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
All right.
curious about that thing anyway. So
Indeed. So does anyone have any guesses what it probably is before you approach it?
Looks
Is it
like a
broken?
broken column.
A broken obelisk, maybe?
Incorrect.
No, it's a column.
I thought it was a tower.
It is actually the matching statue across the river.
It's Vul.
It's Vul, thus the name of the bridge being the Bridge of Wisdom. So this is a colossal statue in the exact same scale, you would assume, of Arden, but is of a seated, robed figure. But so it is almost entirely whole except for the head. So where Arden is just the feet, this is almost the entire body, a seated, robed figure, but no head. It's about 20 feet square and 30 feet tall. You have no idea where the head is. You've heard no rumors at all. Interestingly enough, when you look, resting in its lap, the 2 hands are also missing. And yeah, so that is the deal. They're sitting on top of a pediment, and you marvel upon the glory of Vul.
Can we poke around the pediment and see if because we've seen other statues with compartments and openings in the bases and so on.
Mm-hmm.
They were all Thoth, I think, but just it's worth a poke around. Do his arms have little? Can we move his arms? Can we open something in the base? Anything like that?
Take a turn.
Yeah, I think it's worth a turn.
And it's nice and bright. The weather's clear.
Okay, so in order to, you actually have to scale the pediment to actually get up to actually take a good look at the body of the statue itself. And moving around the pediment, it has no plaques, no writing at all. Neither did Arden's, by the way. The pediment, the pediments of both, by the way, are whole. But other than that, you find no seams at all. It does seem like the hands and the head were removed. I don't want to say like carefully, but they were not obviously just like sledgehammered off, right? Like the cuts are relatively precise. Like it was done carefully.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Can I get all dwarfy on it and see if I can figure out how long ago that happened and what kind of tools they might have been using? Or
yeah, it's difficult. So I definitely do think that you would require your dwarf roll.
okay.
So go ahead and roll that bad boy.
Are we gonna just kind of go off of like the construction tricks or?
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a 2 in 6 chance.
Okay.
2. Roll it. No.
5. Yeah, no good. It's a little bit too hard to tell. That would have been a deep. That would have been a deep cut too, but definitely worth a cut.
Deep cut.
A deep cut.
I gotta see what you did there.
So no seams on the arms or
No.
like what's this lever doing here? Oh,
No. Very not. Oh, important thing when you cross. It's sort of like that the moment in the Fellowship of the Ring, right? When you cross over the Bridge of Wisdom, like this is the furthest I've ever been, right? As you step off, when you head off of the Bridge of Wisdom and you're approaching the Statue of Vul, the landscape itself is vastly different. The ruins themselves are very different. I think you heard rumors about this as well, but where it looked like on the eastern side, where it looked like a massive force had blown things apart, right? Like a catastrophe had happened, where like of an explosion of force, right? Here, the ruins, the amount of ruins is still equal. However, the ruins themselves are as if a mighty heat had scorched everything. So there's like a lot of blackened pieces of wood, and like wood that's just sort of crumbled into ash. The stone itself is blackened and charred. There's some that, as the heat was so intense that it's actually turned some into glass or smooth surfaces, similar to the surface. What it reminds you a little bit of is the sides of the crevasse that you looked out over when you first encountered that strange probing sphere.
Oh.
Which had
So,
also
John, now-
melted.
Yeah. So I was just thinking back, like in like episode 1, like when we first came in, isn't like the dividing line between like force damage and like fire damage, kind of along that main avenue that you walk like from obelisk to tower?
I do remember actually saying that, and I misspoke. The river is actually the dividing line.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder if that little lake is where the spaceship crashed in, right? Like that's where it penetrated the surface and bore down inside.
Right? I see. Yeah.
And like because of its orientation, like when it impacts, the engines, melt one side and the force of impact blasts the other, and it just drilled down. And then along everyone came and said, let's build a city here on this. Or
why would
already there.
Why would the lake fill up though? Why wouldn't the lake just drain if there's a massive hole in the bottom? I don't know.
There's a dam.
Yeah. And you're also like Ted, the timing doesn't work, because if they built the city, it wouldn't be blown up.
Right.
Yeah.
But how did pardon my French, but how the fuck did that spaceship get under there?
I think
not leave an entry wound.
I'm guessing that I wonder if maybe, like I see two maybe possibilities, because I agree. Yeah, if it was under that lake would drain down there, but maybe somewhere either in that tower or in that peninsula that we just passed, because we haven't gone down that peninsula between the two bridges. That might be worth like poking around to see if there's like something over that hole, right?
Right. I guess I'm assuming the ship was
the ship
large.
predates the city, right? Like obviously.
Well,
right?
so that was my original assumption, but now if I'm thinking that the fire and blast is from the ship, it can't possibly predate the city.
Well, but there's also a whole thing about dragons, wasn't there? Was there like a bunch of pissed off red dragons in your book reading last week?
There were some dragons. There was some
dragons.
dragons.
Red dragons
and
and the eggs that were stolen.
But that was a.
It was red. They were red dragons.
It wasn't a Tale of Laurel. It wasn't the Mud, Jacynth. Baboons thought that only practically somebody from beyond Arch Trader Canticle is one of the labors. Yes, the dragon's egg. So it's a labor of Arden Vul.
Well, then that would also predate the city, though, too, right?
Presumably.
Yeah, so Arden,
although dragons live a long time, and maybe the dragons were like, fuck that city. We never got our kids back or whatever, you know?
Arden and Vul were the legendary people who actually were the first to actually come across the site, right? In all of its natural glory. They were the first to approach the fall. So that locates Arden and Vul. But if you want to locate yourself a little bit more on the chronology sort of thing, don't forget that Marius Tricotor, the great imperial archon who like brought the first troops here, right? The first to explore the halls, the first Archontians to explore the halls. Part of his regalia, one of them was the tablet that certainly looked like it was something from that ship, right? Certainly indicated as much.
So the timeline then would be ship, founding of the city, which includes and all of that Thoth stuff post dates the arrival of Arden Vul, right? It's like all part of and parcel. It wasn't like they came and found the old ancient Thothian stuff, right?
Who did?
Arden Vul. They didn't find that. That was built after they founded the city.
Yeah, So after Mars Tricotor basically conquered the halls and established dominance, then it became like an Archontian seat of power, right? And then there was the Great Civil War, right? And I told you that was a huge part. Had a lot to do with Arden Vul, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, okay, I get it. They basically he kind of paved the way literally for all the Archontian construction that we've seen down there. He made that possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that there were already caves and stuff down there, but he was the one who
indeed
made it be Archontian.
Yes.
I got you.
So there was something down there already before the Archontians came.
The spaceship, probably. Yeah. I mean, honestly, right?
Yeah, because we've seen that, and we know that they built their hall right next to it.
The chasm.
Well, if we don't have to go over it. I mean, we already spent a whole episode on lore and stuff like that. But if you look back,
let's march. Okay. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So basically, with the turn searching, we don't see anything that catches our eye on this statue.
No, but it is marvelous to behold, and it puts a question in your mind of where are the hands and head of Vul.
And on the way so far, we haven't seen any like structures. Everything's just rubble. Everything's
rubble, except, and that's actually a great segue, Matt, because as you can see off in the distance, because there is such a wide field of vision, because everything is so destroyed, it stands out like a sore thumb as you're trekking as fast as you can towards the gap in the western wall, which you can see ahead of you, is this long, low bungalow sort of slash villa building to the to your right, which is like right here.
Mm-hmm.
I need to change my my color.
Your color is hard to see there.
My color is hard to see. Give me a
I got
blue.
Pretty pink. So there we go.
There we go. So there we go. And that it's like a grand villa in the Archontian style, but kind of similar to like Pompeii or the ruins of Ostia in Italy. It's like extremely well preserved, right? Like except for the Pyramid of Thoth itself, which you guys are used to by now, you have never seen a building that is so well preserved than this thing, and it stands out like a sore thumb. It is somehow everything around it is blackened, fire-destroyed ruin, yet this stands untouched, and it even appears to be unfaded by the ravages of time. But you fear what?
Both Mike and I had questions. Mike, please, after you.
Yeah.
Is there a way, and I don't want to take us out of our way, guys. I know we have a plan, et cetera, but is there a way to determine whether or not the heat that melted everything came from the villa? Like the radius around it kind of thing?
Difficult to tell. It's really, really hard. There's no indication in the ruins that you're kind of looking around now that there was any direction to the heat. Unlike
fire was just everywhere.
Fire everywhere, yeah, of intense variety. So you're not really sure. Unlike the eastern side of Arden Vul, where the explosion is obviously sort of like, it looks like it kind of radiated outward from the pyramid, like in a huge explosion. This seems to be different.
All right.
Okay. And then
if you come across the stone, like it's black on all sides of the stone, not just like on one side of the stone.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Gotcha. And my follow-up question would be like, as a dwarf, what kind of rock is most of this stuff made out of, and what would the melting point be?
That I can't tell you. I don't have that info.
Hot. I'm guessing hot.
Hot, like super hot.
But like more than campfire, right? Like
Yeah. Like I said, like some of it's been turned to glass. That's how hot it was.
Yeah.
You know, like molten, right? So it's the one thing you can tell, and you don't need to be a dwarf to be able to detect this. That even from a distance, the existence of that longhouse in the shape that it's in is wholly and completely unnatural. There is definitely something magical about it. Like you could just tell right off. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should probably check that out.
Not now. Not
No,
now. It's
with,
it's way too close to those scholar guys, and we're trying definitely to avoid them.
If there are scholars, if any men are in that gate at the west gate, and they have any sort of guards patrolling, especially up on top of the tower, they would definitely see anyone approaching the longhouse.
Okay. So, John, my question, and again, I'm not interested in like exploring it right now, but I'm curious, just like distance to the west, and if that house is untouched. An interesting one I also notice is if I look to the south, that looks like, and again, this is on the map, so I don't know if we're seeing it in real life, but it's kind of equidistant from where we are. So if we look north, we see that. If we look south, do we see this structure here?
You do. Yep. You sure do.
And
yep. So
is it equally undamaged, or what's that? Yeah.
No. So if you scan it 360 degrees, most everything is like flattened and bad, just gone, unrecognizable. The longhouse, of course, is an anomaly. To the south, along near the large lake, there are some partially intact structures that are still there, but there's like in ruins, but they are like, there's still pieces like that are erected. You know what I mean? Okay. That is the case with that thing that you're pointing to there.
Okay. Well,
again, in blue there.
I think that was just a place that was kind of interest to us at some point early on. I don't know why. This guy here.
Yeah.
Oh, that one there. Okay, so that's. Let me just find it, and I could probably tell you why we pointed that guy out. Ah, yes. So that is where so you remember when you talked to the guards and they told you like they saw like Isometric coming out of there, and they saw the five fingers. So they saw the five fingers kind of going to different places, right? The three. So they saw the five fingers talking to Isometric, right? We know that. And then they also saw them at different points, observing the structures that were here, which you have seen. Here and here.
Okay, that's what that is. Gotcha.
And then you think to yourself, they remember when they were talking to just last session about they were able to find something in that silver coffer, 2 silver onks.
Yeah. Wasn't the silver coffer that tower where Osric died? That was like in an upper floor.
No, the silver coffer was right here.
It was on that western. It was on the other side of the river from the inn.
Right. Yeah. But the guards were the guys who told us about that tower where Osric died, and they had gone up in the top and had vanished.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. They'd send like a party there, and they just never came back. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So lots of juicy stuff going on around here, right? So, anyways, so I got the time here down. So. From the Bridge of Wisdom to the Western Wall, you stopped at the Arden Vul, so I'm going to take a turn there. It takes another 2 turns to get to the Western Wall itself, so now it is exactly 10 a.m. As you get to the Western Wall. Now here, it's rubble, blackened as well, and most of the wall is completely gone. It's just like a field of stones and things like that. However, on either side of you, to the right and the left, as you sort of look down the wall, it rises back up in either direction, but here is like the perfect place to actually like skip right over. And so without further ado, you pass out of the ruined city of Arden Vul to the west into truly uncharted territory. Here you can see that there is very minimal but present indication of some pathways and roads that were probably indicated like dwellings that were outside the city proper. There's always some usually poorer parts of town usually surround the walled areas and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of indication of that, but you don't hesitate too long as you are making a beeline towards the northwest, right? Which is where you were told the gladiatorial school is, right?
Right.
Okay. So
well, maybe a little bit curving away to maximize distance from the scholars.
Okay, gotcha. Understood.
Yeah, and I think we're trying to, wherever possible, if there's a way to kind of duck out of sight. Can we see from where we are? Can we see figures on the tower?
As you kind of get into that same vector, like when you kind of come up, you're skirting wide around to the west, right? But when you kind of come up and look backwards toward the east, yes, you can see some figures actually patrolling. They are silhouetted against the morning sun, so you can't quite get a beat on what they look like, but they're definitely moving figures.
Are they waving in a friendly manner?
They are not. They do not appear to notice you because you swung wide.
Okay.
So I would say like approximately about 350 feet west of, directly west of those gates, is when you finally come upon the gladiatorial school, and that took one more turn. Okay, so let's go to there, shall we? All right. So we are off the actual map now. There's nothing, no visual representation of this, okay, so this place is really, really cool. What you come up against first, all right, is actually what appears to be a grand Arcantian villa. All right, and it has like a massive facade of like kind of like Romanesque pillars that kind of front it, like, with a pediment and everything like that. But it's low. It almost is like in the same style as the bungalow that is like magically preserved across the wall. It is definitely in a state of disrepair. It is not like magically preserved or anything like that. However, it does seem to have been spared the bulk of the catastrophic destruction that wiped out the city, probably because it's far, it's outside the city walls. And yeah, so that's, you're not even, it's so lovely looking. Like you just know that, what am I trying to say? There's nothing to give it away as a gladiatorial arena at all from what you're seeing. You know what I mean? It's only because you know that they told you that it was here, that that this is where the directions led, that this is probably it.
Right. And all we're seeing is a villa. We're not seeing like a villa in front of a stadium, or there's not like a something like a park area behind it or something where you'd have a big battlefield space or anything like that. It's just a school.
Well, as you think about that more, yeah. And you get your way closer, what am I trying to say? Your
instincts.
Your instincts are proven correct as you get closer to the school. You can see that the pediments themselves are decorated with a number of stylized figures of fighting men and women, and in very exotic, sort of strange, like pieces of armor and helmets and strange, awful-looking weapons, fighting each other and animals and things like that. As you kind of do a circuit around the building itself, you can see that so you're approaching from the east, you go around to the western side of the building, and you can see that fronting the western side entirely is a huge pit that slopes into the ground. It looks like it probably at one time it was much more sheer, right? But time has eroded it away to sort of be smooth. And in that pit, it is filled with trees that have since grown, shrubs, and there's actually like a stagnant pond in the middle of it as well. The pit itself is about 100 feet by 30 feet, so it almost has like a Circus Maximus sort of oval shape rather than like a Colosseum, more of a rounded oval, right? Like it's a long oval. And the 100 feet side of it basically fronts the entire western side of the villa. Do you know what I mean? So like the villa is the villa itself is about 100 feet long. Yeah.
Okay. Right. So like if we were to imagine the fighting pit where Conan was training with the Oriental Master, something like that, deep-sided walls, flat surface, and a bunch of fighters down there training, villa up on top.
That's correct. Yeah. But everything is much more like earthen now, right? Like it's
collapsed and
collapsed.
eroded.
Yeah. And the pit has been filled in, right? Like you can not filled in, like you could still go down into it, but it's like a forest in there almost, with like bushes and trees and like a pond. And interestingly, an interesting architectural feature is that at the where the eastern side of the pit meets the western side of the villa, okay, there is actually a staircase, a huge broad staircase that shoots down straight below into like down into like the basement of below the villa itself. Right, it's choked with creepers and vines and things like that, and the shadow of the sun casts the shadow of the villa over that staircase. Right, you understand what I mean? So it's like this dark, shadowy entrance that like goes deep down underneath the villa.
So if you've got like the villa here and the pit here, you're talking about stairs like this.
You got it, Ted. Yep, exactly.
From inside the pit into the basement of the villa. Got
Correct.
it.
Yep.
Are there any like game trails or animal tracks or evidence of something living in this area?
Excellent question, Gordon. As you were looking around, we'll say that you guys are all on the western side now, sort of observing it. As you make a slow circuit around the circus, the circus, I guess is what you would call it, right? There is you can see that there are numerous indications of the spoor. In our lingo, we call it big piles of dookie, of large predators amongst the flora around here. Okay.
Does it smell like monkey shit?
You can't tell. Well, would you be able to tell?
We've
You have been around monkey shit. You have been around
We
shit.
spread it around on ourselves.
Let's make it a roll. I'll make it a 4 and 6 chance that you can determine monkey shit from other shit.
Does anyone else want to roll? I rolled twice now.
I'll
we're
roll.
confident. Okay.
I'll do it. I'm not afraid. All right.
I am not
D6. Here we go, baby. Oh, that's a 5.
Yeah, just looks like shit to you, man. But they're big. They're big piles. Their big piles are definitely fresh. You smell them before you see them. I mean, it's not like there's just shit everywhere. You know what I mean? It's just, but every here and there, you do see that it's definitely poop. And I would, yeah.
All right.
And they do seem to be. There's more of it closer to the staircase.
And any tracks?
There are some tracks. I'm going to say that none of you are actually really proficient in tracks, but they are definitely like the tracks of predators, like they're large clawed feet.
So Mort was the Boy Scout. He knows that if you poke away at the poop there and you find lots of bones and hair in it, it might tell us what it's been eating, and then we know what it is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if we're finding like tiny little mice in the poop, then I'm not so worried. If I'm finding, claws of giant eagles, then that's a problem.
100%.
Without even looking, I can tell you it wants to eat us. I have a sense. Whatever it is, it's not good.
Okay, so first of all, the circuit around the circus takes a turn.
Okay.
Sorting, going elbow deep into shit is also going to take a turn.
Now, are we talking like Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah.
with
the Triceratops.
piles of shit? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. If it's that much poo,
No,
I don't have that many questions.
I'm just kidding.
That
No,
big, I'm leaving.
they're smaller. They're larger than like we're getting so gross, but it's larger than like a normal human pile of shit. It's a little bit bigger than that, but it's not Triceratops level of poop.
Maybe, kids. We'll have great conversations, kids.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more of a quad than a deuce that they've been dropping.
Oh.
Yes, it's a quad. Yes, sifting through it, Ted, you do indeed find rather large bones. To be honest, so it's definitely a predator of some sort, carnivorous. Also, Ted, as you sift through it, you actually find a few GP actually stuck in there. Yeah, you find
I
30.
should tell you, Codswallop finds the GPs.
Got it. Yes, definitely a henchman job. Codswallop manages to yank out 30 gold from that big pile of poop.
Hey, maybe we just need to capture one of these things. If he poops gold all the time, we can retire.
Nice. All right. Now I'm going to add that to our treasure tracker. So you guys carry on here.
So here's what I think we have a choice here. Are we going to try to go down? Obviously, it looks like something is using that as its lair. Do we think that that's the way in, or do we think that there are like some secret smaller? Remember, what was his name? Dwelf?
Guelph. Mhm.
Guelph? Oh,
Mhm.
hey, I remembered.
Mhm.
Like he snuck down here by himself, but I don't remember if he described the actual.
No,
entrance.
he had a party with him. He had
did.
a party with him. They all died.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we should
Most
not
of the
do what he
most
did.
of the prisoners at that time actually related, even though they came into the halls from vastly different parts. They all had that similar story of sort of being hooked up to a party and then like being the last surviving member of the party.
Okay, this is
Yeah.
bright and cheery.
Mm.
So
Okay, so yeah, do we want to try to like mess around with this big entrance, or do we want to sneak around and see if there's like a little secret thing somewhere?
It's 10:30 in the morning.
So here's my thing about it too. Obviously the tunnel is the quickest way down there that we can see, right? But these stadiums, if it's a stadium, had multiple like entrances and passageways and all kinds of things like that.
For the gladiators to come in and fight, sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe most of them came up the main ramp, right? Like whatever, but
So I want to make something clear, just so that you have it in your mind clearly, Mike, is that this is not this was not a place where the public came to watch people fight. This is a
Right.
gladiatorial school. Just
Okay.
putting it out there, yeah.
Oh, so they're probably not like the pens and stuff that they would.
Yeah, you don't see any remnants of like where there would be any sort of seating, like for the masses or anything like that. There's nothing like that.
got you. You kept on describing it as like a circus thing, so I guess I figured that they would probably let people come watch them train or something. But that's fine.
Judging by the shape of like the oblong shape of it, it's likely that there was probably also like chariot training here as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Any feathers in the stadium area or scales?
That's a good question, actually. Roll me a d6.
Like my second one tonight, dude.
Yeah, you guys are killing it.
All right. Roll a d6. What am I looking for?
Let's do 2 and 6.
Oh,
Okay.
hey.
So, Goran, you find like as Mort's sort of, we'll say it's during the same turn when Mort's sifting through the poop and you're kind of looking around that general area, you do find on the ground and like in a shrub or something like that, you do find a couple of scales, larger scales. Yeah.
What color are they, John?
They're like a grayish green, and they're kind of dull, like they don't look iridescent or anything like that. And I'd say they're probably, I want to say like maybe like an inch wide or so,
Oh, okay.
tapering to a point.
Not like a dragon scale.
No, like you can definitely see that it's not. And you've seen Cresternistrex, like you know what she looks like,
Right.
so it's not her.
Okay.
Do
All right.
they make us think of snakes or fish or lizards?
You would guess lizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so I can think of a couple of things. Do we want to go check out the big stairs, or do we want to sneak around and look for a secret entrance? I got a couple of ideas. Go ahead.
I like the idea of sort of patrolling through this circus space first, looking around, see if we find some other entrances rather than just saying, hey, look, stairs and going down them.
I agree that we shouldn't just go down the stairs, but I also think that we should probably search the villas first.
Well, we can do that as well, but I think before we go underground, yeah.
So the villa, you don't
Well,
have
we
any
can
idea
start
how
with the
long it
villa,
would take because the villa is pretty vast. You can say like being able to size up the pit and the amount of vegetation down there, that I would rule that for a thorough search where you would uncover anything that would possibly be down there, I would take it would be 3 turns, a half hour.
I think that that's worth it because
That's worth it.
I think that thing is a lair if we're lucky. Like how far away, or if we're on the far kind of western side of this, John, how far away? Well, like 40. You said it was like 30 feet wide.
30 feet wide, yeah. So if you're on the western
So
side of
we're
the pit,
maybe-
it's 30 feet to get to the residence.
Do we hear like evil snoring or like?
It's very quiet. Actually, the sounds of nature are present. So you do hear birds chirping, small animals.
Okay.
Like nothing seems unnatural. It seems like a normal ruin.
Okay. I also like the idea of looking for a secret place because the easy, obvious way in seems fraught with danger.
Okay, so there's no, it's not a problem at all to actually go down into the pit. Like you don't need any special equipment or anything like that. You can just sort of slip down the sort of steep sides. It's going to take a little bit of an effort to get back up again, but not a huge deal. And you're going to explore the pit. With that in mind, why don't we just take a quick break to go pee and grab some re-ups on your refreshments, and we will be right back. Okay, welcome back. All right, so you descend into the pit. And you're going to spend 30 solid minutes searching around the pond. And you're, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're just looking for any other entrance or any other evidence of habitation or something like that. Is that the basic gist?
Yeah, like we know that they're. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If there's bodies down here, or evidence that somebody has been digging or whatever, just if. I don't know that we necessarily. It would. I assume you would get. It would take longer if you wanted to dig ourselves or, root through piles of rubble and things like that, right? You're saying 30 minutes to kind of just scan the area.
No, I'd say I would reveal everything, and very quickly I can really tell you with complete what's a
confidence.
God, why am I'm losing the word?
Transparency.
You cannot. You do not find anything else of interest except for more areas of more evidence of the largish predators. More tracks.
Is there more gold? Is there more gold poop?
No more gold.
Oswald is into this now. He's going to start going through all of it.
Yeah, you put 30 gold in a pile of poop. People are going to be going through that poop.
You better believe it. Okay, but yeah, unfortunately, there does not appear to be any other entrance except for the broad stairway leading downward.
Okay. Well,
so villa or stairs, guys?
Well, okay, we have a couple of options for stairs, right? So we can do like I can do the invisible ring thing, right? I can go invisible and go sneak up. Why do you have confused face on, Ted?
It sounds like the same set of stairs. What do you mean by options for stairs? You mean different ways to approach the stairs?
Yeah, different ways to approach the stairs, not different stairs to take. Like
I was like, I don't what? Huh? Okay.
No,
yeah.
Okay. We're like this. Yeah. So I can go invisible, go check it out. I'm not super quiet, and I don't think this necessarily needs the big guns of the silence spell. Might be a little early to pop that off. So I could go invisible. We have a thief, maybe Atticus. Maybe you are pretty good at sneaking and could look around there. Or if we just want to see if there's anything in there and want to lure it out, I could pull Clarice out of the bag and have her run around in front of the
right
the thing. What do you guys think?
So you're assuming that let's call it a lizard for now, until we know something of it. You're assuming that the giant lizard is living down in the stairs and not in the villa.
That's what I think. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So sneaking up on the stair entrance makes sense. Why not then? Let's go check out the villa. Just to get it, so we know that what's up there, and this is like Mort's old army days, right? Let's not cut our supply line off. Let's not leave unknowns behind us. Before we start delving, what's above us?
Right,
maybe there's a whole squad of beastmen living up there who are like, who are those guys just went down the stairs?
Okay, fair enough. So, John, if we looked at if it took us half an hour to do the pit, if we kind of take a look at the villa,
Mm-hmm.
How long do we think it would take to go through the villa?
It's really difficult to tell. So it looks like the top floor of it has basically caved in and caused basically very difficult to navigate around in the villa because the upper floor is basically collapsed to the bottom floor. The bottom floor is mostly intact, but it's quite long. It's quite large, like 100 feet long, right? So that's a big size, and you're picking your way through ruins. Probably if you want to uncover every single little thing, we're talking hours.
That would be our whole thing. What if we did this? What about the compromise? What if we go check out the area of the villa around the staircase that goes down?
Go up to the top of the slope again.
Mm-hmm.
Check out the parts of the villa that are right above the stairs.
Yeah, okay. Just kind of around it.
Sure. Yeah. A turn.
Because the stairs are in the pit level. Right?
Yeah, so they basically they're in the pit and they shoot underneath, directly underneath the villa.
Right. So the colonnade of the exterior of the villa goes along the edge of the pit. And there's probably some doors and things or windows that we could see.
Yeah. No more windows, obviously. And the colonnade is more. The colonnade was more on the eastern side. That you know what I mean. It's sort of a grand entrance to the school itself. You know what I mean?
Huh?
So it's a little bit different. I don't have
Should be the
exact
back of
description.
it,
I don't picture it exactly as a colonnade. It would probably be like the back.
Right.
It would probably just be like I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah. So more Pompeian villa than Greek temple.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes, you got it, Ted.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm not, but cool. So the other thing I was gonna throw out there real quick is that we know that some beastie is in the vicinity. If there are windows in the villa overlooking the area that we are currently searching, do we bait some sort of trap for the beast?
There's no windows.
And then no windows.
It's ruins.
No opening.
Yeah. Like the whole top floor is collapsed and broken down and almost shattered the bottom floor as well. It's just
But
so
there's vantage points where we could like bait something in the middle, right?
Oh yeah, certainly, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
We don't mean
do
glass in the windows, by the way. We mean openings in a wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I'm just asking, guys, do we want to try and do that? Maybe lure the beast out. We've done a search right outside its front door and it hasn't come out, which means it might be out hunting and on its way back or whatever. But is that worth our time, or is it worth just going down the stairs and just yoke?
Well, that's why I was thinking,
motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was thinking, like, whichever the sneakiest approach is, just to go look and come back.
Right. Well, I guess my feeling is I'm just really curious about what's in the villa and don't like, not knowing what we're leaving behind us.
I love the idea of searching the villa.
I'm fully prepared to go down the stairs expecting to encounter a monster and fight it. That's fine. But I'd like to know what's behind me.
All right. Well, why don't we do that compromise approach? Look at kind of what's in the villa area, like right around the stairs. See if it piques our curiosity.
You can do that because, like, you've got a long
above, yeah,
right. You got a long circus,
yeah,
and a building right next to it. There's no around the stairs. You're either
if we could go like above, just in the immediate vicinity of the stairs.
You can crawl in and
Yeah.
around the ruins. Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
Guys,
so
go ahead.
yeah,
Never
so
mind.
you hop in there and you search around that general area in the villa itself. So there is nothing valuable at all. What you can glean from the ruins itself is that this appears to have once been a combination of a school and also. But its primary function seems to have been actually like the residence of the owner of the school itself and its family. Like it looks like most of the schooling was done out there in the pit, right? And so there's no classrooms or subsidiary areas where like any weapons training or anything like that. There's no evidence of any of that. It looks to be mostly like the ruins of furnishings that have long since disintegrated and things like that. Up here, you do not see any evidence of spore or the evidence of the predators itself. Okay. When you're searching really close to the stairway, when you're like right up against it, you're sort of over top of it. All right. You do hear scraping of something moving deep down below you. Right. Like at some point you're sort of standing over where that stairway like debouches into the basement, and like in there echoing around you can hear like a sort of.
All right. And
suspicions verified.
That took a turn.
No other evidence of like a staircase or even a filled with rubble staircase from here. Like the owner would have into the pit.
Well, that's a lie, actually. I would say like right around, I'd say you had a wide enough radius that you could determine that at one point there probably was like a smaller like servants or where where not a lot of people, like a normal staircase going down, but it's choked with rubble. Like it would take days to remove. Like it's like hard stone. There's also while you're searching, so you hear that as well. And then you also hear echoing upwards, you hear like a low, like short, low barking, like a "Arr, arr, arr," and you hear it answered in kind angrily by another creature that emits that same sound, but you can tell like it's a little bit further. Like there's multiple, like you know what I mean, like in response.
And we hear this coming from where?
Down there where you heard the scraping.
Multiple giant lizards.
Or beastmen with their pet lizard.
Yeah.
And does not sound. Possibly, Matt. Yeah, I was just gonna say like it doesn't sound like a language of any sort. It sounds like an animal sound.
Okay.
And no evidence of spore or predator up here. Also, no evidence of anyone else living up here. No campfires or.
It's extremely it's not conducive to like searching around. Like you really have to like pick and like sort of boulder your way over ruins. You know, it's very difficult to sift through and find good footing.
All right. Okay. I have an idea. We can workshop this. All right.
Okay.
I pull a chicken out of the bag.
Yes.
Right, Clarice.
Very excited about the
chicken. We put the chicken kind of like tie her to a tree or something that's out a little bit from the stairs. We hang out on the side. If something comes out to eat the chicken, we sneak in behind it and just run behind it.
Okay, so is your ambush going to be down in the pit or up above in the ruins to look down upon the thing coming out?
Well, I at least this pitch was not attack and ambush, but like sneak.
See, then we have a giant monster behind us.
Yeah.
That's bad. Yeah. That's a bad idea. I take that back.
I like the idea of using some of our mortality to poison the beast.
Did I bring any?
Mortality?
Let's see. Does he still have any?
Why am I not surprised? Atticus has some mortality.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, Njal does not have any more with him. So he used some. He spread around what he had, and I think he left the rest back with Lisbeth.
Should we make Atticus?
Atticus has.
He's like Tom Waits playing what's his name from Dracula?
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about? Renfield, yeah.
Master. I have 2 doses of mortality. And also Gorand has 1, so we have at least 3 on us. And that's isn't that like 6 arrows?
Or you mortality Yost's black iron spear, and he leaps on the monster from the top of the pit.
I will remind everybody of how mortality works. It is not an instant kill. It kills like turns and turns later.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then maybe we just get ready to toss big rocks on it.
We should see what it is first.
There are plenty of big pieces of masonry. That is
yeah.
Hey, John, using some rope and there's probably nothing overhead to hang the rock from, right?
Like a pulley system and drop a rock.
Drop the rock, man. Like like Acme that dude.
No, there's plenty. With time, I think you could rig pretty much anything you wanted to. I think, yeah,
okay.
As long as you've got the material, yeah.
Atticus and Gorand are going to start trying to lever a good-sized boulder to land on the place where the chicken is going to be.
Well, remember, we have 2 guys that are super strong. Yost and Njal are both very strong.
Yeah, you guys will be the heavy lifters, but Atticus and I have the knowledge.
Yeah, Goran, you definitely would have like the engineering knowledge to rig something like this. You do think that would probably take about another 30 minutes to get something proper in order?
That's cake. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay. Do you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we get a rope check? I just want to share it. Make sure that you guys got the rope.
I have rope.
You could pull 50 from Laryl's sack for one thing. I know that, but it's going to take more than that.
I don't even need to. Njal has 50 packed and ready.
Goran has 50.
Okay, that's you have plenty then. That's fine. All right. So another 3 turns go by. It is now 11:40 a.m. The sun is high in the sky right now, beaming directly down upon you, making Yost just look fantastic. Let's face it, when he's doing all that work. Yeah, the sheen of sweat.
Sweating a little bit, the glistening. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sweat.
Atticus strips off his clothes too.
No, put it back on.
No. His nipple falls off.
Oh, rotting disease. Good times.
Oh, so much fun.
Okay, So yeah, you rig like you're doing like a big pulley thing, right? Where you basically are like holding on to it, and then at the right moment you just sort of let go and just poof, right? That's
the idea.
Okay.
And so then we send the chicken down.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is like from above, like toss him so that he lands out.
Okay, yeah, and it'll
Right.
also screech.
You can get a chicken. You can get small things that will fit out of the sack, right? So we could get a chicken, a duck, some
turkey.
quail.
We can make turducken.
Okay, but just so you know, like all this fowl that you pull out of the bag, it's not being tied to anything, right? So you're hoping that when it lands and it starts to run, that's going to be enough to bring whatever's out, right?
Oh no! I'm tying into a rock, just like a little one.
Okay,
just like like Shane Gang.
And then the chicken goes in with it.
I thought you were going to go down there and tie it to a tree, man.
Jesus,
I thought so too, but then I was like, that's dangerous.
Like
so what I'm going to do, I'm going to, like you put a lead sinker, like when you're fishing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tie. I've got twine, so I'm going to tie the rock to Clarice's leg. I'm like, okay, I appreciate your sacrifice. You're going to do really well. Don't worry, I'll see you again sometime.
Clarice Brazzi, she sleeps with the fishes.
If people are taken out of that sack every day, is it always Clarice?
I choose to. It eases my conscience.
I see.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Can I ask? Can Atticus backstab with a missile weapon if he's hiding?
No.
Okay.
No.
Sorry, Atticus. You're going into the pit.
ain't that edition? So
I think at this point, John, while this is all going on, Codswallop and Mort should maybe be on like watch, like go look and keep an eye on the Scholars Tower if they start coming over here, anything like that.
Yeah. But the rest, that's cool. I got it. And the rest of you are up above and kind of going to watch it all play out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Clarice version 2.0 gets thrown bodily with a rock tied to her, and bak, 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 bak. And she hits the ground hard, and she's a little bit shaken, and she kind of gets up, and she's like, she starts doing her head around, and you immediately hear like a and you can hear like a as a scrabbling of clawed feet, and Clarice like stops. And she like turns her head sideways, so she gets like one eye down the corridor, right? Doing great, boss. And she, and then scuttling out of the darkness of the broad, so into the broad daylight, in that small patch that before, like it would actually go into like the mini forest that's grown up in the pit, which is exactly where Clarice is. Comes out 3, and they're like basically like scrabbling against each other to like be the first to actually swallow Clarice whole. Are 20-foot long, sinuous lizards with gray-green scales and long like Komodo dragon snouts, right? Bared. They're basically like gigantic Komodo dragons, but gray-green. Okay, and so they had that alligator pose with like the arms like where they're straight out like from the sides, like like just scrabbling against the ground, like scraping their bellies along, but they're basically like trying to push against each other in like a mass of scales towards Clarice, and Clarice, like the moment that they emerge into the sun, like Clarice like bolts as fast as she possibly can.
But tied her to a rock.
But you tied her to a rock, yeah. So she comes to the edge of it, and she like does that little chicken attempt to fly. Like she kind of comes up, and she gets woof, like gets slammed back down to the ground. The moment she gets slammed back down to the ground, one of those 3 lizards basically gets her on the ricochet and just yanks her midair, and in one gulp takes her down. The other 2 lizards and I know that you're going to release the thing, but the other 2 lizards at that precise moment, in a fury of hunger and jealousy, basically are tussling with the one that gulped it down, and so like they're all sort of like together, right?
Perfect.
Unleash hell.
Okay. And
this is
and Yost and y'all let go, and they're like straining. They're just like and they let go. The boulder. And it's just like a huge chunk of like pediment, right? Like it's a visible chunk of like the facade of the building, which they hoist it up, just comes slamming down directly on top of them. They are moving around in a ball of chaos, right? Like, so there is a slight chance that they just dip out of the way at the wrong moment. So I'm going to say that instead of rolling an attack roll, I think I'm just going to make it like a chance roll. So let's do someone roll a d20, and we'll say I'll say a 1 to 3 on a d20. The stone misses them.
You go, Ted. You haven't rolled yet.
Yeah, do it, Ted.
Oh my God.
Ted,
All right.
Ted.
Don't make Clarice die in vain. Okay.
Nice. Got a 17.
17, everybody.
Yep. So the as predicted, that comes crashing down upon them. I'm going to say it does equal damage to all of them. Let's see, on the fly.
How deep is the,
Let's go with
how deep's the pit? Like 30 feet, 20 feet?
the pit is 15 feet deep.
Oh, okay.
But it was higher than 15 feet because you had the pulley system, right? Doesn't matter. I'm not going to be calculating like tens of feet. So I'm gonna just flat out arbitrarily say it's going to do 4d6 damage
To all of them.
to all of them.
Divided equally.
Nope.
Okay, who's rolling that?
To each of them, each of them is going to take this number of points of damage. Who's rolling?
Go.
Oh.
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
I'm ready.
Yeah, you rolled the other. You did good.
All right, here you go.
Let her go. Oh, good roll, Ted.
Ted!
Yes.
What is that total?
Oh,
That is an
18.
18.
18. Oh my goodness, Ted.
yes.
Oh my goodness.
I
Give
like,
me
I like this new dice roller.
one moment, please. Reticulating splines as I take a look at a little bit of stat block action. You know how it is. 18 is going to definitely fucking hurt. All right, so
Then Yost leaps down with the iron spear.
so yeah, it just slams into them, and they literally, that's like all, what is that? That's 12 feet just goes, and they, you can hear bones crunching. Yeah, they all like let out a huge bellow of pain, and they scrabble away as much as they can. But you can see like some of them are actually like collapsing on like broken legs. You know what I mean? As they're just sort of like writhing around and like totally dazed. You guys have surprise for this round if you want to take advantage. You could also easily, because they're so dazed, you could easily actually, you think, probably scamper down and just disappear into the depths if you want to.
We got to take him out.
Kill him out.
Yost immediately pulls his spear out and leaps down into the fray.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yost.
Me too.
All right.
Right.
I will. We talked about this. I haven't done it yet.
Mhm.
I'm going to take a -2 to my AC and give using the magic rings
Ooh,
Sweet.
and give put Yost under the effect of the shield spell.
nice. I
As
believe this
he-
is Aethel Gifu rather than Rurotanis, right? Rurotanis is the only one that's seen action.
So
Okay, so you
The
feel strangely
shield spell
exposed at the same time, Matt? Like you suddenly have this feeling of just sort of like not being protected.
ooh,
But you actually all see like a shimmer, like shield in my mind, in my head canon is basically like a shield of force, but it's like a visible, like only it comes down in front of you rather than like a force field around you. You know what I mean? It's like a jink, like a Dune shield sort of.
I was going to say, can it look like the David Lynch Dune shield, please?
David
Yes,
Lynch
there you go.
Dune shield.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. So, question about that. That show in melee, that spell grants him an AC of 15.
Correct.
15.
He's wearing the ring, which is normally a +1 protection ring. Is that
It does not count. Yeah, so
does not
it
count.
supersedes everything else. He now has an AC of 15.
okay? Great. Okay, so he will leap into combat. Goran will leap into combat.
Atticus will not.
Okay.
Wallop and Mort were on guard duty. I don't know
Yeah,
if you guys called them back.
You could
we
definitely
would have called you. Yeah,
you
of
can hear the
course.
commotion. Both Morton, the two goblins could, but you are on the far side. You cannot attack this round.
Okay, they'll
Are
come
any
back.
of them pinned, John?
But none of them are pinned. No.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So I'm going to let Yost make his attack roll first, and then maybe I'll finish it up if he doesn't kill the one that
Okay.
he's attacking.
So
Okay.
yeah, the move is definitely hopping down there, and then you get one attack.
Yeah, I'm assuming that activating the ring is kind of my action. I can't
Yeah,
use.
yeah. Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay. No. It's good.
All right, so Yost will roll a d20. He has, let's see, it's a +1 spear.
AC for the lizards is 15. They are not easy.
Okay, so his total plus with his strength and his spear is +4 because these are not humanoids.
You know what? I'm going to say for the dazed round, I'm going to lower that to a 13.
All right, well, I
Nice.
have a hit then. I rolled an 11
Nice.
+4. That's a hit. So that's a D8 plus 4 damage. A total of 6, John.
6 damage on one of them. Okay, so Yost is and
Do flowers go around here?
this is the black iron spear.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it does not have its effective magic against the lizard, right? Because that's against humanoids only, right? Am I wrong about that?
+2 against humanoids. If there's something else about it, I don't know about
You
it.
didn't add the +2 is all what I'm asking, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
I only
okay.
added the +1.
Excellent, good. All right, so yeah, it's badass when Yost hops down there, man, because it's like all fucking sword and sorcerer. Like he hops down bodily on it, and he's got that huge spear. Like you could see like how heavy it is in his high hands. Right, he just like just rams it into one of them. It's just like writhing on it on the end of it. Does not kill it though. It's writhing and trying to snap at him.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
But I'm going to attack that same one, John.
Okay, Gorn follows up behind.
All right. And I have a +3 to hit, which means I need a 10 or a higher, right?
Yep.
Sweet.
Ooh, an 18 on the die. All right.
All right. And I get to roll a
Both here.
10-sided because I'm 5th level,
Oh boy.
but I only get a +1 because I have no strength bonus.
Is this the pin?
Yeah,
No.
this is this is Clavern. Clavum.
Oh, Clavum. Right on.
Yeah.
The magical shrinking spear.
Yes, that'll be 4 points.
4 points. All right. So he's scrabbling at Yost, and you follow up Gorn from behind, and he never sees you coming as you just pin it right at the base of its skull and slam him, pin him to the ground, and its tongue just like off.
Yes.
Yost gives you a high five.
Yeah.
Can y'all take a swing at one of the other ones?
Certainly can. Yeah.
All right.
Does he bring out the
no.
Ruiner of Appetites?
He does. He's gonna put some fresh blood on that thing, so he has a +5 to attack.
Yeah. We got to call out these badass names of these weapons, man. That's what it's all about.
know,
This level.
man.
You guys got cool shit now.
I just want to be as cool as our NPCs. That's all I ask.
Someday.
You got clout,
All right.
man. It's badass. All right.
All right.
Yeah,
So
clearly cool item.
okay, D20 +5. Here we go.
Okay. That'll do it.
Uh,
That's
gonna
gonna
do
do
it.
it.
Okay. And his damage is a D10 +3.
That's tasty. Roll big. Roll big. Nice.
Oh,
Seven.
that's a 7. 10
10.
points of damage.
10 points. All right. So one of the other ones was turning to face the scrum with Yost and Gorand, and doesn't see Njal come up from behind with the Ruiner and just hacks off its head immediately. The blood unnaturally splatters across the blade of the Ruiner and remains there until its next victim. Any other melee combatant hopping down? No.
That's it.
Right. That's it. Okay. Let's roll for some initiative.
It's been so long. A D6, right?
That's right.
Oh,
got
I got a 1. Fuck
Oh,
you.
boom.
All right.
Sweet.
So it's you guys first.
All right. Yost.
I should have asked before we roll. Any spellcasting avarice? Yes.
I am not going to cast a spell.
Do any of your retainers want to move out of melee? Or Gorand,
no.
if you want to move. No. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Continue.
All right. So Yost standing atop the lizard that he was fighting before draws the black iron spear and leaps to the next lizard.
Nice.
And that is a 12 plus 4. That's a 16.
Yes. Oh,
Nice.
but this time now that because they're no longer days, they have their normal AC of 15. Just want to let you know.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good. So we'll roll a d8 plus 4 for damage.
Ooh,
7.
you guys are killing
Nice.
it. All right.
Vengeance of the black iron spear.
Yost literally sweated more hoisting the piece of pediment than he did in killing 2 of these subterranean lizards, as he ends the other one by gutting it right in the belly, and it
At which
collapses.
point, Mort arrives. Oh, good job. Good job.
Well
Well done, Yo. Marvelous. Very good.
Excellently done. All right, so
Yeah, great guy.
you've killed those 3 lizards.
That was,
I'm going to
that was
search
your
it.
idea to
Do they
drop
have
a rock?
anything?
I'm sorry, say it
Mike,
again.
that was your idea to drop a rock?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude.
Yep, pretty well done.
Hey, that was my 3rd good idea this session.
Nice.
Excellent
Yeah.
work. If you just went like straight up toe to toe with those things, it was. I mean, the fact that you didn't even give them a chance to attack was really well done, because it would have been nasty.
I do want to slit open their bellies, John, and look for fun stuff inside.
Okay,
Kozlov
sure.
is all over that. That's a great idea.
Good idea.
If you guys are all participating in gutting and cleaning lizards, I will say that it will take a single turn. Oh, so combat took a turn. and then the gutting will take a turn. So we are precisely at noon now, with the sun's rays shining down upon the entrails of lizards. You do find a smattering of gold as well. All told, between the three of them, you find another 45.
Nice.
Okay.
Do you think we can get enough of their pelts to make some cool boots?
You certainly could. That would be a significant amount of time to that's precise work, right? Like skinning lizards is like precise work, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not
up to
going
you.
to worry about it then.
Yeah.
It's cool.
This is
but
not our mission. This is not our mission.
All right. So I just want to real quick, we got the money. The tunnel, as far as we know, is clear. Should we just now proceed down the tunnel?
I think you know what I think in the gutting process, can we say that we kind of drag them off to one side a little bit so that if we do need to exit here, there aren't going to be like a bunch of like predators eating the thing.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, they're 20 feet long, bro. They might be really hard.
They are heavy. I would say like to drag them enough to clear a path, or far enough away that you don't think predators would be waiting for you at the entrance. It would take another turn.
Okay. While you guys do that, me and Atticus are going to recover our rope.
Okay. Got it.
Good idea.
Cool. Okay.
Let's do it. Let's move the corpses so they're not right at the entrance. Cover the rope, wash our hands, and then
in you go.
Go down.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
There we go.
All right. So the battle, those of you who are in melee, in addition to like the very messy job of cleaning the lizards, there's a lot of gore in the party right now. You guys are looking pretty victorious, but also like you're just like up to your elbows in like like blood and guts. So you look badass.
Didn't you say there was a stagnant pond though? We could wipe some of the worst of it off.
Oh, you could if you wanted to.
You want to go stick your bloody hands in the pond as bait? Please.
Well, no, you put it like that.
Wiggle your fingers so it looks like worms.
Yeah. Okay.
The pond is not that far away if you want to.
No.
Okay.
Now you've said it.
Nope. You wear the blood as a badge of honor. Nyal is very approving because he's like flipping his blade in the sun. He's like, I like it.
That was pretty sweet, dude.
And then you disappear down into the darkness and say goodbye to the sun as you go underneath the residential villa. So as you enter into this level, it appears that the basement level of the residence. Yes, Ted.
Can we map this?
Not yet. I'll let you know when mapping.
Okay.
That's
mapping
not
arrives.
a good sign.
Yeah.
We're almost there.
Survive the whirling blades.
No, just a little bit more flavor before we get to the nitty gritty.
Okay.
And when you go down underground here, you can see that the basement itself appears to be pretty well preserved, except for the depredations of the lizards themselves. It's obvious here that what its original function has been completely subsumed by becoming the lair of a bunch of lizards. You can see that what the staircase originally led to was the cell level of the school, and it's relatively structurally intact, and it features approximately about 35 tightly packed together 8x8 cells. And there's like a common area, obviously, that is in the midst of all those cells, and some additional storerooms as well. It smells really foul, like animals basically, and it's littered with bones of small and like medium-sized prey, probably as large as deer, maybe. And like the stank of body odor and poop and stuff like that is like really, really rank down here. And you can see in the base of it, in the midst of the common area, near the back of it. So like basically you go down, on either side of you is like a shitload of cells that goes like way down underneath, right? Actually, I'm wrong. You go down and it opens up into like a T intersection, and then like to your left and right, basically directly underneath the 100-foot long villa, right, is like cells all around you, right? You go down towards the north, so to your left, and you can see at the very back wall there is a hole that has actually been dug into the earthen floor, actually through the tile, through the flagstone there. and a rough hole that is larger than man's size. I'd probably say it's about like 6 feet wide, goes directly down, sloping down into the ground.
Wow.
We should look around the edge of that for any kind of traps or something. If he's as paranoid as we think he is, he might have, booby trapped that entrance.
So if I understand correctly, John, you're saying that the stairs go down and it intersects a long corridor like this.
Correct.
And there's cells along either side.
Yep.
Down those two corridors.
Yep.
Is the common area at the very center?
The common area, I'm just saying, is basically the corridor, right? It's like wide enough.
It's wide enough that like you can come out of your cell and hang out in the middle area.
Yep, you got
it.
Exactly.
So it's a long, wide open corridor with cells.
Yeah.
And at the north end, someone smashed through the wall and dug a hole.
Not a wall, directly in the ground in the flagstone.
In the floor. Okay.
Yeah.
John.
Yes.
I would like to leave the lantern light far enough to let my infravision adjust. And then I want to look and see if there's any other heat sources in the long hallway. And I don't care if I go to the right or to the left. Maybe not towards the tunnel, right? I want to see if there's any like lizard young. And I also want to know if they have a nest or something down here.
Yep.
Because there could be eggs. There could be more treasure. There could be something
One
else.
of the cells, maybe. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Good point. Give me 1 second.
We definitely want to search around in here, I think.
So so that's actually, once again, you're killing it tonight, Mike. Great questions. There is, first of all, there is a disturbing lack of an actual nest, right? They're lizards. You assume, like, even though they're big and kind of unnatural, that they probably would have a nest with some sort with eggs or something like that. No indication. First of all, no heat signatures. Second of all, there is no signs of a nest. There's signs of feeding, right? Like plenty of bones and things like that, but no indication of a place where they would rest or incubate their young or something like that, right? Like nothing like that.
Okay. And what about in the cells, guys? Do we want to just do a cursory search of the cells?
Yeah. Are these, John, these cells, are they like closed doors? Are they open doors? Are they barred? I mean,
they are, all of the cells are open, either from having been torn off of their hinges, the doors themselves having just eroded, or the doors being non-existent or in pieces on the ground and stuff like that. Should you wish to do a thorough search we're talking, what did I say? Like a shitload?
You said 35 of them.
Yeah, it's a lot. I would say, like, if you want to do a thorough search of every single cell, it'd probably take an hour.
It seems contrary to our goals, at least right now. Maybe on the way out.
If it helps as well, if you're thinking comparing the cells to the lizards themselves would not be able to comfortably fit in any of those cells. It would be difficult for them to enter, and it would be very uncomfortable for them to be inside the cell. That's how small the cells are.
I have an idea. What if we each just pick kind of one at random and take a look? If we find something, then maybe it's a signal that it's worth it. If we don't find anything, maybe we do it later.
I mean, that's fair, but I also say it was probably worth just walking the length of the hallway and looking into each one. We don't have to do a thorough search, but there might literally be a box in plain view somewhere that we might want to check out.
Okay,
fair enough. If we cursorily search, there's nothing, it's empty, it's nothing, it's empty. We're not going to find the secret door that's hidden in cell 4, but we're going to find the chest that's hidden in cell 10.
Right.
I like Mike's methodology.
Okay.
He's killing it.
So what are you doing?
Whatever Mike says tonight, we'll just do that.
I was reading a description. So what are you doing with the cells?
We're just going to do a cursory inspection, John. We're going to go as a full group first to the length of hallway that doesn't have the hole in the floor. And we're just going to look into each cell, not doing a full search. But if there's anything obvious of interest, then that's what we want to interact with.
Foot lockers, that kind of thing.
Got it. Okay. Right. So,
a body.
So is 2 turns sound reasonable then?
That sounds perfectly reasonable.
Like 1 turn per branch. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So, unfortunately, there's nothing too exciting. It just kind of ate time. Unfortunately, there's nothing of particular interest in any of the cells. I did misspeak when I said about the hole. It actually is a man. what it looks like is it's like a it looks like a trapdoor or a hatchway used to be there, but the trapdoor mechanism itself has been ripped off, and so it's actually like a square opening about 6 feet wide. But it looks like it was part of the villa. Like it looks like it led to like another sub basement beneath the cells itself. And there is a iron ladder that descends into the ground there. That appears to be stable.
But to your point, Matt, we can have Atticus go search for traps up there.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Get to it, Atticus.
Go on, burglar.
In your what's he searching for traps?
I want him to basically search the entryway for the trapdoor and make sure no one's put any tripwires on it or grease the rungs of the ladder where he can see.
Okay.
He's not going to go down the ladder or anything else like that that might be like a warning sign. My feeling is, guys, that these lizards were Gerrilad's pets, right? We think he's a druid. He could have 3 lizards guarding this entranceway, right?
Fair enough.
I think it's a reasonable guess. He seems to be druidy and able to charm beasts and so on and so forth. So I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Oh, I screwed up. I got to retcon again. I'm so sorry. It's a lot of stuff going on.
Are we
There were
dead?
4 lizards.
Did we die?
No, it's a good thing for you. It's just like another added clue. I would say like in the common room, scattered amongst the bones and stuff like that. First of all, I guess your first sign of something would be that some of the bones appear to be human or humanoid in shape as well. And then you also see amidst the wreckage as well, the scattered remains of what looked to be like shredded pieces of armor and some well-made but not magical weapons, right? Cloaks and adventuring gear, all broken and useless and stuff like that. But just so you're aware, it looks like
A party was perhaps ambushed down here.
it looks to be that way. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is any of the equipment dwarven?
Yes, there is some dwarven gear. Yeah. Like a
Was your-
dwarven size. Yeah.
Yeah. Was your pal? Was his party all dwarves? I can't.
I
can't
don't
remember.
know, but we do
No.
like to travel in packs.
Well, he didn't actually. He wouldn't know actually. If I think back, I don't think Welf actually detailed like who he was with. Yeah.
Didn't.
Yeah.
I'm just making the supposition that if there was like one dwarf, there might be more than one. It's really unusual for me to be traveling with you guys. You know, all these like juvenile races and stuff like that.
That's actually true.
I'm very grateful for your understanding. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, John. I'm gonna. Can I have
Okay.
Atticus search?
Yes, go for it. Yes, absolutely. What's his chance?
2 and 6.
2 and 6. All right. Roll to 3. Yeah.
good.
So, yeah, it does. It appears to be normal. There's definitely you can search from his searching. He can actually tell that it doesn't look like the lizards bothered to go down there. If that tells you anything. But you also think that it would have been kind of difficult for them, right?
Right. Okay. Should we go down the ladder, guys?
You want to
I mean,
like lower the lantern down on a rope to see how deep it is, kind of thing, or
how
just
far?
start
Can we
going-
just see how far the ladder
maybe we
goes?
can tell actually. Yeah.
I was just looking. Let me see if I got a precise measurement. I may not. Let's see.
I mean, if it's like 700 feet, I don't know if I want to go down.
No. So this definitely leads to it leads to it looks like it was made for the villa, right?
Right.
So it would, I'd say, probably goes down about 15 feet.
Oh, okay.
Still a
Yeah.
pretty big ladder, man. I mean, that's like basically from the first floor of my house to like the top of the second floor, right?
Mhm.
That's it's pretty high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anything, can we see anything on the floor if we do lower the lantern down? Is it lowering it down into a room or a hallway or
Indeed. Yep.
an
So
abattoir?
you got it. So guess what? You guess Mike's once again killing it because Mike has just triggered map creation. Dun dun dun.
Good job, Mike.
All right, so we're switching, going to Owlbear for the viewers, and we're going to switch to a beautiful blank white
screen.
map.
Ooh, look at that.
Ooh, ah.
All right.
All right.
Any advice on where you want me to start, John?
Yes, let's give you a general. Let's start sort of, I'll just give you a little circle here. Start right around here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'll just make a little. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a little square, and we're going to call that the trapdoor.
So this is the cool thing. That square that you just drew is the room that you illuminate when you lower your lantern down there. Because, and you should note this on the map, each square on this map is 50 feet.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a big, that's a big map.
50 These are 50 by 50 foot squares.
50 by 50 foot squares. I cannot recommend strongly enough as far as orienting what you're about to explore with what everything else that you've explored up to this point in the campaign, that you've got to keep in mind the scope of what you're traveling through. Okay, it's going to be even me looking at the actual map, which all the viewers can see on the screen there. You have to orient yourself that these are not 10-foot squares; these are 50-foot big fuck off squares. Okay, but it does illuminate when you go down there. And we're gonna have to do a little bit of like abstraction, because just the fact that lantern and torchlight only goes 30 feet, so I'm gonna cheat that a little bit.
We swing it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But it illuminates a perfectly square 50-foot chamber, 50 foot on the side square chamber, so it's a large, like a big square basement that's underneath the cell chamber of the villa itself. And let's see what's in there. You can still, you're up above, so you're kind of looking around. So here, okay, this is where I made my mistake. Yeah, hold on one second. In the stone, so there doesn't appear to be much in here at all. There's a little bit of debris that's been kicked in, like a few bones and stuff like that's been kicked in by the lizards down here as well. It looks like there's worked masonry. A lot of the mortar in between the masonry has been sort of like chipped away by time and stuff like that. There's like a lot of like loose rock, which is some of it has settled from the weight to sort of like not be perfectly fit anymore, right? But typical Arcantian well-made masonry. And there is a large hole. This is what I actually meant with the hole. I was just didn't hit the right spot, in the northwest corner of that 50-foot chamber. That clearly illuminated by your lantern light.
And is the ladder that go down, is it in the center, or is it along one wall?
It is on the southern wall.
I'm completely brain fried by the idea that we're doing 50-foot squares.
I know. You got to wrap your head around it. Yeah.
Is there a reason is it because it's so vast? Is that why I'm not drawing a 50 by 50 room in 10-foot squares?
Maybe.
Well, I'll run out of map.
Yeah.
I can't even mark like where the ladder is on this tiny square.
Yeah, make a little X for the ladder and a little dot for the hole.
Yeah, ladder's over here. Is it in the middle, John?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna melt Ted's brain. John. I'm gonna make them take the lantern up.
No, I can't actually draw a line inside of a square. It won't let me do it.
That's weird.
Let me try one more time.
I'm gonna make them take the lantern up, John, and I'm gonna go on the first 3 rungs of the ladder down. Let my dark vision adjust, and then I'm going to look for anything that is showing up on my dark vision.
Okay, nothing at all. No heat signatures at all.
And the ladder itself, is it like hooked at the top? Is it bolted into the wall?
Like a permanent fixture? Yeah.
Okay, so that looks pretty steady. That's good.
Yeah, it looks safe.
Anything to indicate what this room would have been used for? Are there any exits out of it besides the hole in the floor?
No, it actually looks like it. So I mean, it's obviously like a huge space, but for whatever reason, any furnishings that are in here are completely gone.
I mean, a ladder is not an easy way to access a space. You certainly can't use it for a storeroom, right?
Yeah, you can't take anything out. It's just like people. That's the only thing. That's weird.
Very bizarre.
It could be like an oubliette sort of deal.
I mean, I have one in my house, but it's not 50 by 50. Jesus.
An oubliette?
Well, I mean, modern home building, it's
okay. So we're approaching the end of the session. Do you?
No.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. Do we want to? Are you going down Well, you want to start
I
like
am.
when you're
Let's
down?
go down.
We can
Let's
stop
do
right here
it.
when you're still peering down with the lantern, or you can actually like file down.
Let's go
So-
peer down the
Please,
next hole.
please let us go down.
Yeah, let's all go down, and then David can't talk us out of it because we'll be down.
yeah.
And
No, I think David would be all for it. So you.
David would be gung ho for this, dude.
So I'm going to say a turn goes by,
David goes
and you set yourself down on the ground here. Okay. You look around, and your voice sort of echoes in this large area, and you're just like, "What the fuck is this? Like, there's no exits in you." And like the abnormality in the room, besides its perfect geometry, is just that hole that's in the ground. Like, it's just sort of like calling to you, like what, like
Is there
way
a
off in the
smell?
distance.
Does it smell? Does the whole smell, John?
It smells no, not like it did up there. You know what I mean? It just smells dark and dingy and dank. Yeah. But once again, it's not perfect in here. Like the time has done its work in here. As you kind of scan your lantern around and you kind of like observe, but it doesn't look like there was any evidence that this room had, like in the halls of Thoth and stuff like that. There was always like the remnants of like plaster and what used to be frescoes. Like this is completely, there's no decoration at all.
And then here's maybe my one last question for the night. Is the rubble from the floor on the floor of the room that we're in, or does it look like it caved in? Like, do people dig down, or did something dig out?
Of the hole?
Yeah.
like if you're digging from the top and you're throwing dirt over your shoulder versus coming up from underneath and taking the dirt away.
I totally understand. Yep. You would be able to tell that. Let me just make sure I give you the right information. I think it would be, let's see. I think this would be coming up from underneath. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
worse. That's worse.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I was afraid you were going to say. I was like, oh, maybe it's just some guys that dug a hole thinking that they can get into the tunnels.
Yeah.
No, it's a monster that dug its way out.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And it's about 3 foot wide, so relatively narrow. And it leads down into darkness. Now it's not like a straight down. When you peer a lantern light over it, you can see that it does go down. Like you're gonna have to like lower your body like down into the hole. But then it quickly like slopes, and it slopes, Ted.
Okay. You said this starts in the northwest corner?
Yeah, in the northwest corner, not in the precise corner. Like once again, these are 50-foot blocks, so it's like right there, Ted. Yep.
Okay.
And it becomes let's see. I'm going to give you the exact thing here, just so I'm sure. Yep. So it looks to turn into like about a tunnel that's about 4 feet tall. So everyone except for Gorn and Mort, Gorn would probably have to duck his head. Mort, you could probably stand up fine, but everyone else would have to duck if they actually went in there. It slopes gently away, and it goes into a 3 foot wide tunnel, so very cramped, right? 4 feet tall, 3 feet wide. We're talking narrow, and
Okay.
and it goes away in the natural it goes away generally northwesterly.
More north than west, or more west than north?
More north than west.
So something like that.
Should you continue into this next time, what I plan to do for mapping purposes, Ted, is to, I think the best way would actually be, because they're natural tunnels, is to give you almost like an angle. I don't know would you be able to parse an angle roughly, like if I told you? Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm probably going to do that. Yeah. So this would be northwest angle would be what? Never mind. I can't even do it myself. Mike, yeah.
It's like
45 degrees, 45 degrees northwest.
Yeah.
So let me you might have already answered my question by saying natural tunnels. Are there tool marks in the tunnels? Are the tunnels made out of dirt or stone, or is it a mixture of both? Is there any like indication that they've been supported in any way, shape, or form? Like, are they man-made is what I'm trying to figure out.
You actually, as a dwarf, you'd probably be able to tell. Here, it looks like it was man-made, but done with pretty shoddy workmanship, right? Like there was no indication that
Goblins.
there's no supports or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's like roughly hewn rock with probably like mattocks of some sort, right? Kind of as fast as possible, right? Just to, you know what I mean? Like just to get allow a person to get through it in
Right.
in some sort of manner, right? And it is all rough stone, not earth.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll say that we'll leave it there. This is what presents you. It is pretty obvious to you, like, should you wish to try to infiltrate the tunnels, like, this is the way. Like, you know what I mean? There's, there's been other options and all over the dungeons, but it appears like, at least for here at the Gladiatorial School, this is the entrance that they were talking about. That at least Guelph, this is the one that that Guelph went through. Let's put it that way, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Through process
Oh, I'm down. I'm down with this. Yeah.
Cool.
Can we play tomorrow night?
Yeah, I wish, right? Yeah, if only. All right, but all right, the delve begins. So we'll see how that goes. Exciting time. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, you guys remember, you've been watching 3D6 Down the Line. Please don't forget to like the video and hit the bell to subscribe. And please pass along the word to all of your friends and family so that they can watch the most criminally underwatched actual play channel on the interwebs. So thanks again for watching, everybody, or listening, and we will see you next time. Have a great week. Take care. Bye.
See you guys. Bye, John. Thank you.
Thanks, John.